Hello everyone and Happy New Year. I wish you health, well and luck in the 2022, the years of Tiger. In this video, we're gonna carry on chapter 7 and 8 of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Now let's start. Chapter 7, Meg hears some gossip. Annie Moffat did not forget her promised invitation, and one April day, Meg went to stay at the Moffat's large house. Meg thought it was wonderful. She loved riding in fine carriages, wearing her best dress every day, and doing nothing except enjoy herself. She soon began to talk about fashionable clothes and hairstyles in the way that the other girls did. And the more Meg saw of any pretty things, the more she wished that she too were rich. Annie's older sisters, Belle and Clara, were fine young ladies. Mr. Moffat was a fat, friendly gentleman, and Mrs. Moffat was a fat, friendly lady. They were all very kind to Meg and did their best to make her feel at home. When the evening for a small party came, Meg's best dress looked very old next to Sally's new one, but no one said anything about it. The girls were getting ready when a servant brought in a box of flowers. "For Miss March," she said, "and here's a letter." "What fun! Who are they from?" said the girls. "We didn't know you had a young man." "The letter is from Mother and the flowers are from Laurie," said Meg simply. "Oh," said Annie with a strange look. Her mother's loving words and Laurie's kindness made Meg feel much happier, and she enjoyed the party very much. Annie's made her sing, and someone says that Meg had a fine voice, so Meg was having a nice time until she heard someone say on the other side of the large table of flowers, "How old is the Lawrence boy?" 16 or 17, I think, said another voice. "It would be an excellent thing for one of those girls," said the third voice. "Sally says they are very friendly, and the old man thinks they are all wonderful." "I expect Mrs. M had made her plans," said Mrs. Moffat's voice. "But do you think the girl knows of them?" She told that little lie about her mother, and her cheeks went pink. "I'm sure the notes were from the boy really. Poor thing. She'll be very pretty if she has nice clothes. Do you think she might if we offer to lend her a dress for Thursday?" "I shall ask young Lauren to come, and we'll have some fun with her afterwards." Meg tried to forget what she heard, but could not. The gossip made her angry, and she was glad when the party was over and she was alone in her bed. She cried quietly to herself. Why did people have to say those things? She and Laurie were just friends, and now that friendship felt damaged by the unkind gossip. The next day, Miss Bell said, "Meg, dear, we sent an invitation to your friend, Mr. Lawrence, for Thursday." Meg pretended to misunderstand. "You're very kind, but I'm afraid he won't come. He's nearly 70. Miss Bell laughed. "I mean the young man." "There isn't one," Meg said. "Laurie is only a boy." "Isn't he about your age?" said Clara. "Near Joe's," said Meg. "I'm 17 in August." "It's nice of him to send you flowers," said Annie. "He often does to all of us," says Meg. "My mother and old Mr. Lawrence are friends, you know." "What will you wear on Thursday?" asked Sally. "My white dress again. I haven't got any orders." "No orders?" said Sally. "How funny." "I have a pretty blue dress I can't wear any more, Meg," says Belle. "It will please me if you wear it." "You're very kind, but," began Meg. "Please do," says Belle. "You look quite beautiful in it." Meg couldn't refuse this kind offer, and on a Thursday evening, Belle helped to change Meg into a fine lady. She brushed and curled her hair, reddened her lips, and then helped her to get into the sky blue dress. The neck of the dress was cut very low, and Meg was quite shocked when she saw herself in the mirror. A necklace and earrings were added, and Meg was ready for the party. At first, she felt strange in all the fine clothes, but she soon discovered that people who did not usually notice her now came to speak to her. Several young men who had only stared before now asked to be introduced. Suddenly, Meg saw Laurie across the room. He was staring at her, and he didn't look very pleased. Meg began to feel uncomfortable, and she wished that she had worn her old dress. As she walked up to Laurie, she saw Belle and Annie watching them both and smiling. "I'm glad you came," Meg said to Laurie in her most grown-up voice. "I was afraid you wouldn't." "Joe wanted me to come and tell her how you looked," said Laurie. "What will you tell her?" "I'll say I didn't know you, because you look so unlike yourself. I'm quite afraid of you," he said. "The girls dress me up for fun," says Meg. "Don't you like it?" "No, I don't," came the cool reply. Meg became angry. "Then I shan't stay with you," and she walked up towards the window. A moment or two later, an older man went past her, and she heard him say to his friend, "That girl has been dressed up like a doll." "Oh dear," thought Meg, "why didn't I wear my old things?" She turned and saw Laurie behind her. "Please forgive me," he said. "Come and have something to eat." Meg tried to look annoyed. "Please come," he said again. "I don't like your dress, but I think you are wonderful." Meg smiled and found it impossible to stay angry with him. "Please don't tell them at home about my dress," she said. "They won't understand that it was just for fun, and it will worry Mother. I was stupid to wear it, but I'll tell them myself." "I won't say anything," he promised. He did not see her again until supper time, when she was drinking wine with two other boys. "You'll feel ill tomorrow if you drink much of that, Meg," Laurie whispered to her. "I'm not Meg tonight," she said. "I'm a doll who does crazy things. Tomorrow I'll be good again." Meg danced and laughed and talked to as many young men as she could manage, but went to bed feeling that she hadn't enjoyed herself as much as she had expected. She was sick all the next day, and on Saturday went home quite tired of her fortnight's fun. "I'm glad to be home," she said to her mother and Joe, after telling them how she was dressed up like a doll, drank too much wine, and was ill afterwards. She had laughed while telling them the story, but her face still looked worried at the end. "There's something else, I think," said Mrs. March, smoothing Meg's cheek, which suddenly became rose red. "Yes," Meg said slowly. "I hate people saying and thinking awful things about her and Laurie." Then she told them the gossip she had heard. "What rubbish," said Joe. "Just wait until I see Annie Moffat. How stupid to think that Mother has plans, and that we are kind to Laurie because he is rich and may marry one of us one day. He'll laugh when I tell him." "No, Joe," said her mother. "You must never repeat wicked gossip." "Do you have plans, Mother?" asked Meg. "Mother do, dear," said Mrs. March, "but my plans are different from Mrs. Moffat's, I suspect. I want my daughter to be loved, and I want people to think well of them. I want them to marry well, but not to marry rich men just because they are rich. I'd rather you were a poor man's wife, if that meant you had happy, peaceful lives. But your father and I believe that we'll always be proud of our daughters, whether they are married or single." You will, says Meg and Joe together. Chapter 8. Own Play and No Work. The 1st of June, and the King family is going on holiday tomorrow, says Meg. I'm free for 3 months. And Aunt March went away for her holiday today, said Joe. Isn't life wonderful? What will you do on your holiday? Asked Amy. I'll stay in bed late and do nothing, says Meg. I had lots of books to read, said Joe. Let's not do any studying, Bess, said Amy. Let's play all the time and rest, as Joe and Meg are going to do. I will, if Mother doesn't mind, says Bess. Mrs. Smart agreed to the plan and said they could try it for a week. But, she added, I think by Saturday night you will find that all play and no work is as bad as earned work and no play. Next day, Meg appeared at 10 o'clock and ate breakfast alone. It was a lonely meal, and the room was untidy because Beth had not cleaned it. Joe went to the river with Laurie and sat in the apple tree and read a book. Beth began to tidy things in her cupboard, but she got tired and left it half done. She went to her piano, glad that she did not have to wash the cups and plates. Amy sat in the garden to draw, hoping someone would see her and say something nice about her picture. But no one appeared, so she went for a walk, got caught in the rain, and came home very wet. At tea, everyone said it has been a delightful but unusually long day. Meg, who had been shopping in the afternoon, now decided that she did not like the dress she has bought. Joe had a headache from reading too long. Beth couldn't find anything in her cupboard, and the rain had made Amy dress so wet that she couldn't wear it to Katie Brown's party next day. Mrs. Smart listened, smiled, and said nothing. The week seemed to get longer and longer with nothing much to do, and by Friday the girls were glad that it was nearly over, that Mrs. Smart gave Hannah a holiday. And when the girls got up on Saturday, there was no breakfast ready, no fire in the kitchen, and no mother waiting for them. What has happened? Said Joe. Meg ran upstairs and then came down to say that Mother was staying in her room to have a rest. She says we must look after ourselves today, Meg said. Good, I want something to do, said Joe. Secretly, they were all pleased to have something useful to do again. Beck and Amy put cups and plates on the table while Joe and Meg got breakfast. Then Meg took some tea and an egg up to Mrs. Smart. The tea was too strong and the egg were burned. Mrs. Smart did not complain, but she laughed to herself afterwards. Joe decided to invite Laurie to dinner. There's meat and vegetable and plenty of potatoes, she told Meg. And we can have strawberry and then coffee. Her mother said she did not mind at all because she was going out for dinner. Joe did her best, but the potatoes were still hard in the middle, and the vegetables were cooked too long and fell to pieces, and the meat was burnt black. The strawberries were not ready for eating, and she put salt on them instead of sugar. Unfortunately, it was not discovered until Laurie began eating them. He pretended everything was all right, but Amy took a spoonful and ran from the table. What's wrong? Said Joe. Meg and Laurie told her. Oh, no, said Joe. Then she saw Laurie start to smile, and she began to laugh. Soon everyone was laughing with her. What a terrible day, said Joe, after they had cleared everything away. Mrs. Smart returned home later. Have you enjoyed your week of all play and no work, girls? Or do you want another week of it? She said. I don't, said Joe. Nor do I, shouted the others. Mother, did you go out and leave it just to see how we could manage? Asked Meg. Yes, said Mrs. Smart. I wanted you to see that being comfortable depends on us all helping each other and not just thinking of ourselves. Isn't it better to have time for play and time for work and to make each day useful and enjoyable? Oh, it is, Mother, it is, said the girls. Some days later, all four girls went on a picnic with Laurie and his tutor, Mr. Brooke, and some other young people. Sally Gardner and her English friend, Miss Kate Vaughan, were amongst them. It was a sunny day, and they had their picnic on a hill under some trees. After the meal, most of the young ladies and gentlemen played games, but Miss Kate sat under a tree and began to draw. Meg watched, while Mr. Brooke lay on the grass beside her, with a book which he did not read. I wish I could draw, says Meg. Why don't you learn? Replied Miss Kate. She was a little older than the other girls and was very much the fashionable young lady. I haven't time, says Meg. I have a job teaching 4 children in a family. Oh, says Miss Kate, looking rather shocked. She said no more, but her face showed that she thought being a private teacher was a little better than being a servant, and Meg's cheeks quickly became red. In America, young ladies prefer to work and earn money for themselves, says Mr. Brooke quickly, and not expect others to pay for everything. I see, says Miss Kate coldly. Soon after, she took her drawing and moved away. There is no place like America for us workers, Miss Meg, says Mr. Brooke, smiling. His brown eyes looked at Meg warmly, and she smiled back at him. I wish I liked teaching as much as you do, she said. You would if you were teaching Laurie, said Mr. Brooke. I'll be sorry when he goes to college next year, but then I shall become a soldier. I think every young man wants to be a soldier, says Meg, but it's hard for the family who stayed at home. I have no family and not many friends to care if I live or die, said Mr. Brooke sadly. Laurie and his grandfather would care, says Meg, and we would all be very sorry if anything happened to you. Thank you, said Mr. Brooke, cheering up immediately. It seems that Matt Smart and Mr. John Brooke is going to have something romance here. Let's wait until the next video to see what happened to the 4 March sisters. And okay, goodbye. Happy New Year, everyone.